Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm gonna be talking about the real life Annabelle doll. So you might have heard of Annabelle from the Annabelle movie, and I also believe she makes an appearance in the Conjuring films. And I personally have not watched the Conjuring films because I am terrified of ghosts. And if I do watch it, it'll give me nightmares for months. Um, I'm terrible when it comes to stuff like that. I can't watch any ghost caught on tape videos or any horror movies including ghosts. I'm fine with gore and slashers, like it's fine. It's just ghosts for some reason I just can't handle it. I do find real life ghost stories very interesting though, and I do believe in ghosts, so that's probably a little bit why I'm so scared about it. But anyway, let's dive in. So this will be what the stories are based on, and it'll talk about the parallels between the two. So it's got to be quite an interesting one. So hope you enjoy. So ever since the Conjuring film was released, followed by the Annabelle movie in 2014, rumours have swirled about the Warren duo. The Conjuring and true story behind the Annabelle doll. Was the real Annabelle doll quite as vindictive and evil as the doll in the film? Did the Warrens really keep a doll with a demon attached to it? Although the real life Annabelle doll was a Raggedy Ann doll, nowhere near as frightening in appearance as the porcelain doll in the film, many of the details were frighteningly similar. Let's dive into the details and learn more about the Annabelle true story. So, the student nurse. The real Annabelle was given to Donna, who was a student nurse, as a birthday present by her mother. One thing to remember, Annabelle was brought second hand from a hobby store. She was living with her friend Angie at the time, and Donna was delighted with the gift at first, but the Conjuring doll quickly became a source of great fear for the girls. Annabelle made only very small movements to begin with that could be put down to Donna and Angie accidentally moving her. For example, ended up on the floor instead of on the chair. Maybe she just fell off. Soon though, the movement started to increase and the doll started to move more. For example, she may have ended up on the couch instead of on Donna's bed, or outside Angie's door immediately after she was returned to Donna's room. Their close friend Lou was very nervous of the seemingly innocent Raggedy doll. He believed that she was evil or possessed and that something needed to be done about it, but Donna and Annie were very progressive in their views and didn't think anything of the sort, and still believed that perhaps they were to blame for the movements of the doll. The notes. The Annabelle doll story quickly became more sinister. Soon the girls started to find notes around their apartment. The strange thing was that the notes were written on parchment paper, and neither of the two girls had ever used parchment paper before. The notes said various things, but most commonly they said things like "help Lou" and "help us." The blood. Finally, the doll from the Conjuring, Annabelle, was found with blood on her hands. Donna came home from work one day and found the doll in her usual spot on the bed, which made a change. But unfortunately, she had literal blood on her hands. It seemed almost like the blood, or the red liquid, whatever it was coming from the doll itself. That was it. It was time for the girls to call in some help in the form of a medium to find out what was going on with this doll before things got even worse. The first medium sat down with the girls and Annabelle, scary doll, and the story that Donna and Angie were given was that the land on which their apartment complex was built used to be a field. A young girl aged around 7 years old was found dead there many years before. When the doll came into the apartment, Annabelle's spirit was still in the area, in which she died, and because she was fond of the doll, her spirit became one with it. Annabelle became Annabelle the doll. Unfortunately for the girls, Annabelle became Annabelle the haunted doll. Donna and Angie were very loving and giving, however, and because they were felt sorry for the poor girl, they had been found dead alone in that field. They wanted the doll to stay because they didn't want her to be left alone. Lou was the one who was attacked by Annabelle before the Warrens were called in. Maybe she didn't like him, or maybe he reminded her of a man who had treated her badly in life, but he was the one that she showed her true self to. A few things occurred, including some bad dreams and some visions of Annabelle, but the attack that made Donna and Angie call the Warrens was a physical one. Angie and Lou were spending some time together when they heard movement in Donna's room, but she wasn't at home. They were frozen in fear. At first they were concerned about an intruder, but they quickly realised that the movement was in fact Annabelle. Lou took a look inside Donna's room and there was no one inside, although the doll was sitting on a chair instead of sitting on the bed where she should have been. He moved forward towards Annabelle and a feeling crept over him, that creeping feeling that you get when something is terribly, terribly wrong. He felt a terrible pain on his chest and realised that there was a series of claw marks, raking marks like someone had leapt at him and roughly scratched him. No one was in that room, and so he knew that the marks must have come from Annabelle. What was stranger still about these scratches is that they healed straight away, and within just 2 days there was no trace of them at all. The Warrens were then called in. The Warrens. A priest was called into the apartment along with the Warrens, and it was discovered that Annabelle's main goal was to take possession of Donna's soul. Annabelle was a demon. She was attached to the doll. The Warrens said that demons don't possess items or things, instead they possess people. The priest eventually exorcised the apartment and the Warrens took Annabelle away with them. They both agreed that it would be best to drive home on the back roads, worried that if they drove on the main highways that Annabelle would find a way to cause an accident. Sure enough, they were plagued with car problems the whole way home. The power steering failed, the brakes failed, and the engine of the car kept stalling. The problem ceased for a little while once Ed Warren sprinkled Annabelle with some holy water. Once the pair got home, Ed put the doll on his desk, thinking that she'd be safe there for a little while. Soon she showed them what she was really made of. Annabelle was seen rising above the desk, levitating on multiple occasions. Soon that activity slowed down and stopped, and the Warrens thought that perhaps the demon had quietened, but she was soon found in different rooms of the house, moving around, and when the Warrens put her in one place, she would quickly be found in another. Ed and Lorraine called the priest, but he didn't seem to take it too seriously, and said to Annabelle that she couldn't hurt him because she was just a doll. That was a big mistake, because he was in a car accident on the way home. The car turned over, the brakes failed, and his car was completely written off. Although the priest was badly hurt, he did survive. Annabelle is still around today, residing in the locked glass case that the Warrens built to keep her from getting free and roaming around their house. There is a warning sign on the case saying "Do not touch," as well as a cross. Some say that they see Annabelle moving around the case, waiting to get free. And Annabelle in The Conjuring wreaked havoc on those around her, and the real Annabelle doll most definitely did the same. The Conjuring doll is one of the spookiest tales of modern history when we talk about haunted objects, particularly because she had to be kept behind locked glass, and particularly because the Warrens didn't manage to rid the doll of the demon. Annabelle is still available to view today. Would you dare visit her and learn more about the Conjuring true story? And that is a basic rundown of the real life Annabelle doll. So, she is quite creepy, to be fair. I mean, the Warrens are quite famous in what they do. It's like, you know, the information said, they do appear in the Conjuring stories, and I watched a documentary on Netflix that was to do with the real life story of someone that went to trial and for being possessed, like demonic possession, and that was quite cool. That was quite an interesting one because it had the tapes and stuff, and the boy ended up getting exercise and stuff, and the Warrens actually visited the house. So yeah, they're quite well known and they're really good at what they do. But if they wasn't able to, you know, exorcise the demon away from the Annabelle doll, it kind of says how powerful she is. you know, and the fact that they have to keep a lot behind glass for everyone's safety, or else you'll just cause trouble. I think that really says a lot. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And if you have any suggestions for any future videos, anything at all that you'd like me to cover on this channel, let me know. You can let me know in the comments below, on my Instagram, on X, or you can just drop me an email, or the links are in my YouTube bio. And I'll see you all in the next one.